Hey everybody, my name is Ethen Ostroff. I'm a personal injury lawyer with the Ostroff Law Firm. I help people who are hurt but not at fault. My goal for this page is to make sure that your future personal injury case is protected. Today we're going to talk about things insurance companies don't want you to know about your claim. Before I get to that, make sure to hit that subscribe button, follow along where we're going to make sure that your future personal injury case is protected, because guess what? Nobody ever expects to get hurt. And nobody ever expects, especially, to get hurt when they're not at fault. And that's what a personal injury case is. It's a terrible situation to go through. If you follow my page, I'll make sure that you understand how to protect your future case. So, things that insurance companies don't want you to know about your claim or your personal injury case. The number one thing they do not want you to know is that they want to get you to settle your case as soon as possible, before you call a lawyer. They know that the moment that you call somebody like me, that case is worth multiples in their what they call reserves. When they have a certain situation that happens, they set aside money in a way that protects their exposure. So for example, you get in a car crash, you break your arm, and somehow they find out that you broke your arm. They're going to set aside the maximum amount of money that case could potentially be worth. And then the adjuster, their goal is to save as much money from that reserve as possible. So let's say that they put aside $100,000 for that personal injury case. But they find out that, your broken arm is actually just a sprained wrist. They're going to lower that reserve from $100,000 to $30,000. And if they can get you to settle your case for $3,000, guess what? They save $27,000 off the reserve. That adjuster is going to get a nice bonus. But when an attorney gets assigned to a case, sometimes they need to put more in that reserve. That reserve is an amount of money that they think, okay, there's a possibility that we could have to pay this exact maximum amount. And they know that if they can get you to settle your case before you hire a personal injury lawyer, that reserve can be smaller. They know they're going to save money, and they know that your case is going to be worth a lot less, statistically speaking, because it is way, way higher likelihood that the same set of facts would be settled for exponentially more by hiring a lawyer. So even let's take this example. Let's say that your case without a lawyer settles for $10,000, but with a lawyer settles for $100,000. And the lawyer gets 33% of that. So they get $33,000, but guess what? You get $64,000 to $65,000 to $66,000 as opposed to $10,000. So yes, a lawyer gets maybe a third or 40% of your case, but that third or 40% is a part of such a bigger pie that you still get so much more. It's worth hiring a lawyer. They want you not to hire a lawyer. Second, first offer is always bullshit. They're calling you the day after your crash when you're having neck pain, but you don't know whether it's going down your arms yet. You don't know whether you herniated a disc. You haven't gotten an MRI. You don't know whether you broke something in your back. You don't know whether you're having serious nerve damage from that crash. They want to pay you as quickly as possible with a first offer. They're going to say, all right, we got $3,000 for you, and it's going to be done by the end of the day. If you don't accept it, it's off the table. Do not accept that first offer. Do not accept that first offer. I repeat, do not accept the first offer. It's always a bullshit offer. They try to get you something quick. They try to put a exploding offer on it. Hey, this is going to end at this time. You got to accept it quickly. This is a tactic to get you to settle your case before you call a lawyer for way less than your case is worth. Don't accept the first offer. Another thing, if they don't pay for the entire policy when you are entitled the entire policy, and you take that case to trial, and let's say that the policy for that other driver, let's say you got rear-ended, the other driver has a $100,000 liability policy, and let's say they refuse to pay you that, but then you go to verdict and you get a $300,000 verdict. Guess what? They have to pay you now $300,000. So when there's an excess verdict, they are responsible for it, but if they don't pay you what they should have up front, they are responsible for anything over and above that. Next, in terms of pain and suffering, in terms of what the insurance company is going to be paying for at trial, the insurance company knows, and I want to make this clear, if you're on a jury somewhere, insurance cannot be mentioned at trial. Let me repeat. The word Insurance cannot be mentioned at trial. But I want to be clear, I'm not on trial right now. This is not in front of a judge or jury. Insurance companies almost all the time are paying for the settlement costs, the verdict, the entire case, all the lawyer's fees, everything. But the fact that the lawyer in that case representing that injured person cannot mention that that defendant is represented by an insurance company is a benefit to the insurance company, so that you on the jury think that that defendant is paying that person out of pocket. It's just a rule of evidence. It's just basically to keep you from just thinking there's just an endless pocket. But the truth is, insurance companies represent those people. Insurance companies don't want you on the jury to know that they represent those people. So know that when you're at a car accident case, there's an insurance company representing that defendant who caused that crash. So you don't have to stress about that defendant paying you themselves. Next, in terms of the at-fault driver, same thing. The at-fault driver does not pay that person out of pocket. Most lawsuits, I'm going to say 99%, I'm not going to say 100. Most lawsuits are up against insurance companies. Let me put it this way. If I, as a lawyer, know that the person that struck my client doesn't have insurance, I know that even if I get a verdict, that person is still not going to pay my client. So I'm not taking that case generally, and I'm not taking that case to trial because I know that that person is not going to be able to afford to pay what my client needs. But I would take that case to trial if there's an insurance company behind there. So know, another thing the insurance company does not want you to know is that they represent the defendant. They represent the defendant. Even if at trial you don't hear the word insurance company, they don't mention it at all, that's because they're not allowed to, not because they're not involved. If you have any questions, I hope that you never need to reach out to me. I'm a personal injury lawyer. My contact info is below. If you ever heard a not at fault, I'm here for you. I hope you don't need me, but thanks so much for reaching out, and thanks so much for watching this today.